Good day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video, I wanted to kind of recount a story. Yeah, it's one of those videos, but basically, it's a really interesting time, and I think it says a lot to how, in terms of MMOs or games, I should say, MMOs really do kind of carry a big social construct, because a lot of the times you're playing the game, but you're also talking, like you're interacting with people, especially if you're playing with a friend group or a guild where you have active players. Most of your time, if you're playing with other people, will be spent talking. Of course, if you're a solo player, someone who's not that interested in playing with other people or interacting with other people, you like to just pug in, pug out. Of course, that's entirely up to you. But maybe you'll enjoy this story, or not enjoy this story, and be a warning to you about how to interact with other players. But basically, back when I was playing during Warlords Draenor, I had quite a large IRL friend group. We're all still friends to this day, but we don't all still play World of Warcraft to this day, and this might be the reason why. But we pretty much used to play World of Warcraft pretty much every night, I would say. There was around 6 of us. Obviously, I'm not going to list all the names, but yeah, there was around 6 of us that used to play the game. We used to really enjoy the game. We ran a guild together. We didn't do hardcore content, honestly speaking. Like, we weren't going into super hardcore content or anything. I think we're literally doing like normal raids. But we're very, very kind of relaxed as a group of players. We used to do like pug PvP, level new characters, and just kind of enjoy each other's company. And a lot of our time was spent actually doing silly things. Well, I say silly things, but more social aspects of World of Warcraft. Things like the death drop game, where you have to fall from a great height and see who will cast, Water Walk or something, the latest or earliest to see who dies. It's really stupid stuff, but really fun stuff. Games like basically making sure that we could, well, I say games, but in real life, drinking and then playing PvP. And pugging battlegrounds, and just really having a good social time. And the thing is, honestly speaking, it was a ton of fun. Like, we didn't get a lot of content done. We didn't do a lot, but for us, it was a really good time, and it was a really fun time. One of the games we used to play was hide and seek. And hide and seek basically was pretty simple. Obviously, you don't party up with each other, but you organize a group in a capital city. You can transmog, use tools, you can use toys, you can use whatever you need to blend in with the city. And basically, you switch off character name tags, and your friend has to find you. That's pretty much it. It's literally a game of hide and seek in World of Warcraft. It's nothing crazy, but it was a lot of fun. It was something we really enjoyed doing, and it was just a ton of fun for us as players to kind of get involved with and just do, because like I said, for us it was a very social game, and it was one of those things that we really, really enjoyed. So yeah, obviously hide and seek was a lot of fun, but our group had a little bit of tension. Let's just say a little bit of tension from IRL. I'm not going to go too deep into the details, but there was a bit of tension between the group members that night, and basically we decided to play a game of hide and seek, but one of the members of our group of friends was unfortunately excluded. And this was, it's seemingly at first not such a big deal. I mean, like I said, we usually would, it's not like we all had to be together to play hide and seek. We weren't doing any progressions or anything. This was back in the day when TeamSpeak was the majority of your tools and methods for communication. So we had a TeamSpeak server and everything. And I'll never forget. But after a couple rounds of hide and seek, we decided that we would, get our friend online that was missing. We got him online, and he was in a bit of a funky mood. Let's just say he wasn't in a good headspace. You could kind of feel, that he wasn't really receptive to having a good time. I think in hindsight, nowadays you would probably say you want to give him space, but when you're young and we're like 20, 19, when you're that age, you don't really understand the concept of giving space, nor do you care. Not in a good way either. But yeah, basically we were like, no, listen, you play the game, you'll feel better. Convinced him to play hide and seek, and it was a very, very tense round of hide and seek. Basically, there were a couple rules in regards to hide and seek. So, for example, you weren't allowed to move from your location when someone was found near you or something. And let's just say one of our friends was located near the tip of the big kind of like of that big arena just outside of the innkeep in the second part of Orgrimmar. And another player just so happened to spot the said individual, the grumpy one, maybe conveniently moving across Orgrimmar very sneakily in low cover, and maybe they decided to point this out in our TeamSpeak chat. Now, obviously, it was all kind of fun and games, but I think with his headspace and just with where he was at, our usual method of just calling him a blatant cheat and kind of taking the piss out of him, I think just triggered him like immensely. And obviously he wasn't in a good space, but it very quickly devolved into a horrendous situation. He basically decided to leave TeamSpeak. He immediately blocked 4 of us on WhatsApp. He blocked us on, BBM, I think it was even back in that day. He blocked us on. No, I'm not that old. It was WhatsApp, but he blocked us. He then immediately left, our TeamSpeak server. He left the group chat, and then the big one was he had a full-on fallout with another member of our crew. And like when I say fallout, I mean a full-on, like straight up just lovers quarrel. I think they had a full-blown argument for must have been like 20-30 minutes about how he was kind of ringleading us into him not being part of the group, and how he was kind of being prevented from being involved in things. I think it stemmed from a lot of other real-world issues, but it seemed like this hide-and-seek game, I think being called to come play hide-and-seek and then immediately kind of being accused of being a cheat in hide-and-seek, basically, I guess tipped him over the edge with what he was feeling in regards to the group dynamics and just like his position in the social circle and with the other players and everything. And it was just incredibly intense. I mean, he sent me a message. He said that he felt very bad about it, but he would have to block me. He wouldn't talk to me, and this was because I was quite tightly involved with the person he had that huge kind of spat with, that verbal kind of argument with. And it's pretty insane how I think for 6 months he essentially just kind of ghosted or just wasn't involved. That was a terrible loop. Just wasn't involved in our group. It was like we didn't even matter. pretty insane, like looking back at it, because we're friends now. We managed to squash the beef in the most horrendously toxically masculine way possible by just not talking for 6 months and then randomly meeting and having a beer. But yeah, we don't talk like about that day, kind of. Like we mention it occasionally, but we never really talk like to him or even really amongst ourselves too much about what happened. I think we're just kind of accepting the whole "it happened, let it be" type of thing. But it's really just, it's incredible how, at least for me, it shows that MMO games aren't just, I think social games, MMO games, whether it's World of Warcraft or other games or just anything in general, they're not just something you can, like preclude your life from. I think people need to understand that, like when you go into a raid and you have someone screaming at you or yelling at you, and maybe it seems a bit odd or tirade, yes, sometimes it is just because you're having a bad day at the game, or you kind of suck, or you're having a bad moment, or, that can happen. Like, I definitely have sucked at the game, and people have yelled at me, and I've fully deserved it. I wouldn't say yelled, but critiqued me, and I've deserved it. But there can also be moments, even with people you're very good friends with, IRL, online, you've known them for a while. I hate the term IRL because online people in real life. It's a real person on the other side, just not physically there. But anyway, the point is everyone can have kind of a different zone when it comes to their interactions and the way they play video games. And I think you have to respect people at all times. And I think that moment, no matter what happens or how you view it, I definitely feel like what we didn't give was respect. I feel like if we had respected his space, respected him in that moment, and even though, yes, he cheated in the game of hide and seek, I think if we had respected the fact that he was probably not in the headspace to, take that kind of teasing from us, I think we could have avoided 6 months of cold, awkward silence. But yeah, I don't know. I just I was busy thinking about it and kind of felt like I don't know, just talking about it, and yeah, I thought it'd be something interesting, and I'd love to hear what you guys have. I'd love to hear if you have moments like this, or just even the silly games that you used to play with your friends. Like, what's your World of Warcraft time passing game? What do you do with your friends to pass time, or what interesting activities do you do in World of Warcraft to pass time? I find that super interesting, and I'd love to hear it. Bye.